Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. We are 1 week away now from the collaboration, and we may even find out within the next few days, because soon, I'm pretty sure either Sunday or Monday UK, we should find out. We should actually start getting the teasers, which means we might be able to guess from teasers like we have with several other collaborations. The only one that really stumped us was Jobless Reincarnated, because it was sort of like Eminence as well. They sort of like kept the same thing. I feel like that's the reason why they did it. A little bit off-putting. But we can talk about the collabs, and I'm going to go over them. Why I think it's a new collab. I have like thoughts, or not thoughts, but I'm trying to use like... Well, the word's just gone from my mind. That's not very good. Reasons. I'm trying to use like reasons and like common sense, really. So this is the current collabs we have in the game. As you can see here, we've got Slime, AOT, KOF. This is in release order, by the way. So the first collab was Slime, AOT, KOF, Stranger Things, ReZero, Shield Hero, Jobless, Overlord, Tower of God. That calls Maeve as well, but I'm not including Maeve on here, because if we get a Maeve collaboration, I'm going to throw my head at a wall, because I don't think they deserve a full collaboration, at least not now. So firstly, we'll go over the common sense. It's not going to be Shield Hero. Ain't going to be Shield Hero. Realistically, we just had the rerun, it's not going to be Shield Hero. Overlord, hasn't even been a year yet. Goodbye. Tower of God. Can't be Tower of God. Happened this year. AOT happened last year and got a rerun. Final season rerun. Probably not going to see. Currently, we have no reruns of a rerun. And that leaves us with 2 Stranger Things, Jobless. Let's be honest, Stranger Things was a very, very far stretch for a collaboration. And I do believe it was more of a promotional thing than anything, what I would call an off collaboration, which are collaborations that don't happen during the collaboration period. We've had a few. Tower of God, Maeve, Stranger Things, they've all been off collabs where they haven't been in a collaboration slot, or they haven't taken up a collaboration slot. And what I feel like with Stranger Things is I feel like we're going to get Stranger Things in a non-collaboration slot that's meant to be a festival. Maybe towards the end of this year we could possibly see it with the final season of Stranger Things coming out. I do see them doing that. It makes the most sense. Not taking up a collaboration slot for a collab that I think they would get a lot of backlash for, especially from the JP community. I feel like that's the sort of audience they don't really want to mess around with, because Stranger Things are some of the rarest characters in the game, because it hasn't rerun yet, and I reckon they would have rerun it if there was enough hype for it. And then we have Jobless. So the problem is we're going to be getting, I would say, it's Jobless, it's 100% Jobless, but we're going to be getting a collaboration labyrinth. And now there are only 2 collaborations in this game that have had a collaboration labyrinth. Shield Hero, it can't be Shield Hero. And Overlord, I to say it wouldn't be Overlord. No collaboration has rerun before a year, in under a year. And I doubt they do it with Overlord, because Overlord's a collaboration that the characters are already good enough as it is. They don't need more collaboration characters for it. And then I'm also then going to bring up the fact you think, oh, well, maybe they'll add, a collaboration labyrinth. For reruns, they have not added new content to a rerun since ReZero rerun, which was in 2022. This time in 2022. August 2022 was the last time they actually added new content to a collaboration, and they added a boss. And actually, no, they added 2 bosses, which is pretty cool. They added the rabbits, and then they added another boss, which I forgot what it was, but they added another boss for it. I remember that. And that was the last time they ever added stuff to a rerun. Since then we have had reruns, so it's not like that was the last rerun we had was ReZero. We had AOT. They added absolutely nothing. Yes, they buffed the characters, and they added 2 new characters, but none of the content was changed, none of it was updated. It was the same content, just reused. Maybe the bosses were slightly changed just a tiny bit to make them a tiny bit harder to match the current power level, like power creep level. But once again, we also then had Shield Hero, which had no change. The characters once again got a slight buff, which was kind of needed. They were kind of 2 years old this year, so it was kind of, they needed a buff. But apart from that, we didn't really get anything else. They didn't get a new boss. We didn't get to do anything. This is meant to be a season 3 collaboration. There was 1 character from season 3 in that entire collab, and that's Victoria. And she appears in like the first episode, for 5 minutes, and that was it. But yeah. And then that leaves us, of course, with Jobless. You think, oh, well, it must be a new collab then. And also, Jobless only just recently finished the 2nd season. I feel like they would probably want to let it brew a little bit, because I doubt they would have got the IP for it during the second season before it finished, and I feel like they will just end up doing that towards the end of the year. I do feel like Jobless will be the final will take up the final collaboration slot of the year. And now that leaves us with, what could we get? So we know it basically has to be a new collaboration. Of course, it could 100% still be Jobless. It could be any of the ones I said. It could be a rerun of a rerun, right? But I'm using logic. We haven't had a rerun of a rerun yet, so I don't think it could be that. Of course, if we have a rerun of a rerun, we can have more reruns of reruns. But we haven't had that yet, so it's sort of off the table in my opinion. Tower God, 2 new. Overlord, 2 new. Jobless, I think we just have to wait a little bit longer. If this was the October collab, I would say yeah, it's 100% that. But, you know, we still could get it now. I do feel like it would just be a little bit off, as the actual anime for Jobless Reincarnated Season 2 only finished at the end of June. The literal last day of June is when it finished, which means they haven't really had much time to get the IP, make the characters, get it all approved. That's a more than 6-month process, and that leaves us to where we are now. Well, we're sort of in limbo. So, there are many collabs we could get. I'm going to go over a few which are like pretty standard. You know, you've got Soul Leveling, Shangri-La Frontier. They own the IP for that, so it's free money basically. All they need to do is pay the man hours for the development. You know, they don't have to check with their IPs to see if it's all good or not. Same with Tower of God. They own a Tower of God game. You know, they could technically do that as well. Shangri-La doesn't have a game, but it has collaborated with other games. It did collaborate with the Eminence in Shadow game, which then brings us to it could be Eminence in Shadow. And I do feel like meta-wise, I feel like they probably want to release humans and unknowns at the same time, mainly to sort of keep the current balance of the meta. I do believe that the best teams at the moment are either humans or unknown. Of course, you've got Thor with Unknown, Boulder with Unknown, and Sab, and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, you've got humans as well with Escanor, Arthur, Nalfami, all these types of people. I do feel like maybe going for a collab that has a mixture of both. So that means both the metas can be slightly changed a little bit, because the current metas for both teams, they're kind of stally. Both of them have some sort of taunt. You've got Nalfami or you've got Arthur for humans. And then, of course, for the Unknown team, you know, you've got people running Sab, Albedo. Boulder's not a tank, he's just a counter. He's a DPS. But I do feel like them going for a collab that has a little bit more oomph to it would be kind of good. I would like to see them maybe go out of their comfort zone a bit. I always say this. You know, maybe go for like just a random show that had like a lot of hype would be quite nice. Fate even, you know, Honkai Star Rail's doing a collaboration with Fate. That would be quite cool. Grand Cross is quite a good game. You know, it's got quite a good, not player base, we've got quite a good like name for it. You know, it's not super pay to win. Even some characters can be quite pay to win, but most of the time they're not. You can win with 1/6. You know, if you put in the time and effort, you've been playing the game for a long time, like myself. You can get to where you can get to the end game, like where I'm at, without spending absurdly high amounts of money. You know, I spent money on the game, but not what I would consider absurdly amount. I've spent under 200 Great British pounds, which isn't, you know, it's not much in comparison to the mega whales who have like 19 million boxes or 18 million boxes who've spent tens of thousands on the game. But yeah, overall, collaborations wise, I feel like we are going to get a new one. I feel like if we don't get a new one and it's a rerun and they add new content to the rerun, that would be good, I guess. I feel like adding a Labyrinth is kind of the easy way to go, because Labyrinth isn't really too hard. All they got to do is add, you know, the collaboration characters to the Labyrinth, make passive, so that means the collaboration characters do more damage, so on and so forth. But I'm going to use my theory of the fact that they've not added any new content to reruns since ReZero, which was 2 years ago. So I don't feel like reruns are going to be getting any love anytime soon with new content. Because I think they would have done it by now. Like, AOT could have easily gotten another boss and it would have been like cool or whatever. Or, you know, Shield Hero, but they decided not to on either of them. I thought, you know, maybe with AOT, it's because it's AOT and it would be a little bit weird if they did another a boss or whatever. Just keep the Colossal Titan, it's fine. But with Shield Hero, they just should have done it. It would have made more sense, in my opinion. But I'm not a developer. I don't know how long it takes to develop these things. I'm not sure how much time and money has to go into it, how many versions it has to go through till they reach, of course, their final version. And also, collaborations take quite a while to make. Collaborations on, you know, 2 months is done. They're normally about a 4 to like 6 month period, because you have to, of course, you apply for the collab to the IP. The IP's like, yeah, cool, you can collaborate with us. You go through the approval process, you make the characters, then they have to be approved and sent off. They get approved, you make the outfits, in Grand Cross's case. Then they have to get approved. Then you do the finishing touches. The collab is now technically finished. Has to go off again, and then we'll have to get reapproved to say that yeah, it's all good, all ready to go. And I think that is a very long process, and I do feel like I do hope they end up pulling out a new collab because I feel like it will just add more stuff to the game. I feel like a rerun doesn't really add much. You know, Drummer's reincarnated characters don't really need that much of a buff. Tower of God don't need a buff. Overlord don't need a buff, and they're only the real collabs it can be, of course, unless they go for a rerun of a rerun, which they could technically do. They could go ReZero, in, you know, as a way to try and make money off the fact that the third season's coming out soon. But would you then think it'd be smart for them then just to wait until the third season's out and then do it, you know, next year, at the start of next year, as the first collaboration of the year? They could do that as well. But once again, it's all up in the air. I think it's going to be a new collaboration. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you next one. Goodbye.